Tonight, we report on a shooting victim in Beverly and the prosecutor's decision on a fatal police shooting in Moses Lake. What's happening in sports, Bob?
There was a lot of exciting high school basketball and wrestling action over the weekend. Stay tuned to find out how your favorite team made out. But what's the weather forecast in the Columbia Basin tonight?
It was a cold and cloudy start to the work week across the Columbia Basin. I'll let you know what awaits us for the rest of the work week in a bit.
We have all this and much more on iFIBER 1 News.
From the iFIBER 1 HD studio here in the heart of the Columbia Basin, this is iFIBER 1 News, your #1 source for local news, sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. This is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
Robert Hernandez walked into the Outpost Grocery in Beverly Saturday evening with a gunshot wound to his belly. Grant County Sheriff's Office investigators are still trying to determine who shot the 22-year-old Mattawa man and where it occurred. Hernandez is not cooperating with law enforcement. He was taken to Quincy Valley Medical Center for treatment and later taken to Harborview Medical Center in Seattle. After surgery, Hernandez is listed to be in stable condition. Detectives are asking if anyone with information to call them about the shooting at 509-754-2011, extension 468, or email the information to crime-tips@co.grant.wa.us. The reference number is 14GS01241. Moses Lake police officer Aaron Hintz was left with only one option: shoot James Eshelman. Prosecutor Angus Lee released his review of the shooting and stated he found Hintz couldn't use a taser in the cramped space of Eshelman's carport when the man started swinging a knife at the officer. Lee said, "In this case, all evidence shows that the officer was making a lawful contract when he was placed in a clear and present danger of serious and possibly deadly assault. He, like all of us, had a right to take reasonable steps to defend himself and his fellow officer." The night of the shooting, Eshelman, a 54-year-old Moses Lake man, confronted police officers after they were called about him throwing garbage cans into the street. He was under the influence of alcohol and marijuana when he came out the door of his home and thrust a 5-inch knife at police in a cramped carport. As Eshelman attacked, Hintz fired 2 shots, killing Eshelman. Another pair of teams performed well this weekend along with the Seahawks. Moses Lake's cheerleaders returned from state competition with trophies. The high school students performed in the Alaska Airlines Arena at the University of Washington on Saturday. The Chiefs' gold team earned 3rd place in co-ed cheer competition with a score of 82.5, according to the Washington Interscholastic Activities Administration. They were about 5 points out of 1st place. The Chiefs' maroon team took 4th place in the non-tumbling large competition with a score of 70.5.
Each of the people you see here has warrants for their arrest and is wanted by various law enforcement agencies. If you see any of these people, the Department of Corrections asks that you do not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but to call police. You can also call the Department of Corrections at 509-764-6180 during the day or 509-762-1160 after 5 p.m.
We'll be right back after this.